call this meeting to order. First, I'd like to make a motion to accept Barbara Lechna via phone. I'd like to make the motion.
Second.
Seconded by Johnny Volts. Any questions?
Yeah, why?
Barb? I'm being
Yes.
asked why.
I'm out of town.
Okay, got it. Please call roll.
Trustee Volts.
Here.
Trustee Hacker. Here.
We have
Aye.
to first vote on.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I thought
Trustee
we have
Volts.
to see if there's a quorum compared. That's
Yeah,
what
okay.
Brooke says.
We haven't even voted on the book yet. We have to first vote her to be able to
So,
go and teleconference. So,
aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas. Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
aye, motion passes. Thank you. Let's call roll call, please.
Trustee Volts.
Here.
Trustee Hacker.
Here.
Trustee Lucas.
Here.
Trustee Electa.
Here.
Supervisor Prater.
Here, thank you. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
States of America.
And
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for
which
which
it stands,
stands.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Must be able to lead her.
it's a little 7-second delay.
Thank you, Barb. Okay. Review and approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting held on March 14th, 2022. Moved by Donnie Bolts. Do I have a second, please? Second by Trustee Lucas. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Volts.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Review and approval of the minutes from the budget workshop held on March 14th, 2022.
I move to accept them.
Thank you, Trustee Lucas. Do I have a second?
Aye.
Seconded by Trustee Hacker. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Volts.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Public comment, what do you need? A pen? Here's your-
Take care.
Oh, there it is.
No, it's fine.
Oh.
You can borrow it. I have extra.
There we go.
Any public comments? Any comments from anybody? Neil's gonna be at the end. He's our lawyer for our special, our executive session. Okay, sound good, Neil? Hearing none, review and approval of the board auditor report for the total of $175,486.84. I'd like to make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Volts. Any discussion?
Yes, what were the attorney fees for? There's 3 invoices listed.
Pull the attorney fees out from the,
Checks.
yes, please.
Well, it says if there's 3 invoices, so it's really the invoice.
On the
It's on the bottom of this.
side of the check.
Thank you.
What was that for the 5,500?
5,005.
Okay.
Something, yeah.
All right, 28.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome, Trustee Lucas. Any other questions on the board audit report? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Do a motion.
Yeah, motion by myself, seconded by Trustee Volts.
Oh, all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Somebody's paying attention. Trustee Volts.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. No unfinished business. New business, monthly financial investment reports, that's information only. Supervisor's report, have it in here, giving it to you guys, as well as the treasurer's report, giving it to you guys as well. These will also be supplied by everybody at the annual town meeting tomorrow, and it's been posted to the annual town meeting location as well. Just so you know. Any questions regarding the supervisor's report or the treasurer's report? Hearing none, highway commissioner's report.
So, here's the annual highway commissioners report. All the business and inventory for the last year. It's also our Gatsby report, which is a complete list of all of our roads, length, width, all that stuff. We do have to update the Gatsby report for the highways, because we widen those roads. That's being done now.
Cool. Okay. Any questions
Standard
for
report.
highway commissioner, use that? Hearing none, okay. Review and approval of ordinance 2022-02, an ordinance regulating travel, meal, lodging expenses in accordance with the Local Government Travel Expenses Control Act. This is something that has to be done, or was done, there was an ordinance in there, 2016-07, but this ordinance is much more in-depth, and I updated everything regarding, if you check out the state statutes of what everything is right now, which I included in the binder, or in the packet of what all the, where I got the numbers from. Is there any questions or concerns regarding the travel expenses, meals, lodging? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, trustee Bolts. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay. Trustee Electus seconds it. Thank you very much. Hearing no discussion, please call roll.
Trustee Bolts.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. I'll get that in there. Okay, and F, review and approve of ordinance 2022-03, an ordinance approving the board policy manual. Board policy was given to you guys, to the board, last meeting to review. Do you have any questions, concerns? There were more appendixes that were added into this, packet. Just to cover the appendices that were, I believe it was, what appendices were there? B, D, E, and F. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, trustee Lucas.
I read it and I'm just kind of wondering why we have this. Some of the stuff that I read is contrary to Illinois state law, or when the law is stated, it's the whole paragraph or the whole section of the law is not there, just a sentence. And I think we're kind of opening up a can of worms here. If we're, my understanding, the policy manual is not to give anybody superpowers, but to follow the law and then just to list what is specific to our township. So if most of this is covered by Illinois state law, I don't understand, I think you should either put the entire law in or don't even put it in there and just put the policy, what is specific to Winfield Township.
But township follows Illinois state laws.
Right.
So.
But there are things here that are contrary to the law.
Give an example, please.
Well, there's a lot of examples. Okay, you even have the electronics. It must be set up before the meeting starts if somebody in the public wants to record. I don't necessarily agree. We all see that there's a conversation going and someone takes out their phone mid-conversation and then starts videotaping it. So by putting that in there, you're saying that has to be set up. So somebody has to decide prior to the start of the meeting that they're going to be recording the meeting. And the law does not state that. Yeah, and that's just one of many, many things. And there are things that you had made changes to public comments, and I don't know why changes were made. There is one thing about public comments that was in the old policy that was against the law, and that was requiring people to state their address. Well, we don't
Options,
require
right.
that, yeah.
Right, option.
So that was changed, but there were so many other things were changed, which I don't even know why, and it's like, it's actually looks like it's trying to penalize people. How often do we have people for public comments? Rarely. But now the public comments are changed from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. People have to coordinate with one another because nobody's allowed to repeat something that somebody else has said. There's so many things in here that, I'm for free speech, and I don't know why we're putting restrictions on people. And again, like I said, when you're just putting a sentence from the law and you're not stating the law, that's, people can take that out of context. And so I think we either should put the entire applicable law as stated in Illinois law, or don't put any part of that law.
But I mean, for example, like on page 13, it says Open Meetings Act 5 ILC 120/1-1 ET Open Meetings Act. Like it cites where it's coming from. So to me, to put the whole Open Meetings Act law in the book and in referencing it, I think it does a good job of doing that personally. Trustee Elecna, your thoughts?
I never really understood why we needed a manual, so again, like this whole conversation to me is moot. I don't know why we need one. The law is the law, follow it, read your trustee booklet.
Thank you, Barb. That's the point I'm trying to make. We already have the law. We've gotten both the yellow book and the blue book. So that's why I think that anything that is just our policy that's not covered by the law should be put in here.
But I've made that point prior to even going through this whole policy and procedure board manual, specifically.
I mean, who wanted this manual?
Judy did.
I
And so
did
did-
not.
So
I did.
again, so again, here we
Can I-
are
can I-
going
can I answer this?
about
Yeah.
something that,
Right. Yeah, trustee Bowles.
Okay, this whole idea was mine, because, and this started about a year ago, when, with the new board members and everything like that, we didn't have anything in place as to, we get a book when we're elected, here's your job, read it. But we as a township didn't have anything placed, written anywhere as to what type of a policy were we actually enforcing as board members during our meetings. So that's why I asked to put together a policy, some type of a manual to kind of guide us along with the book that we get, that somewhere's, I don't even know if it's written in here about our executive session minutes,
Yeah.
staying here.
Correct.
I wanted that written down in a policy for the trustee for our board, and we did not have that, so that's why I requested to have a manual with that specific item in that policy,
And I agreed with
you
that.
know, so.
Yeah. Things are
I
specific.
mean, as far as public participation, we set that.
Trustee votes,
Hello,
maybe you should have written it. Like maybe you and trustee Lucas should have gotten together and written it. Maybe let's shelve this for now and you guys get together and write a new one.
Yeah,
Everybody
maybe
feel
like
that.
3 or 4 pages, isn't it?
Yeah, and can I want to actually
Yeah,
make a
Because as
suggestion.
soon as the lawyers actually put this together, the things I sent the lawyers was 7 pages. That's it.
Because I'm like, for
And once
Western-
they got it,
I
they said,
agree.
no,
Some things
everything
in
needs
there
to
that are
be
way
put in
too
there.
long, But I think we just need a solid little 2-page thing, what our duties as a trustee is in this boardroom.
I
As far
agree.
as public
I
participation,
suggest that trustee votes and trustee Lucas get together and put that together. That would be
I'm
great.
not saying
Okay,
do that.
what I would suggest, and I agree with you, that's what I had asked for also. Just
Right.
what are the ordinances, things that we need to follow as trustees? We did
Right.
have that conversation at the meeting. But when I wanted to do a mission and value, which is statement, which is when you started off, well, anyway, what I did is I didn't spend any money on an attorney. I went to all the townships in Illinois, not all of them, I went to a number of townships in Illinois. I got their mission and value statements. I also got corporate ones. We had a special meeting and we did that.
And we're
You
so
know.
appreciative of that. We're so appreciative of that.
And I
So
think
let's do that now. Why don't you do that for the manual and let's move on?
I think the supervisor can do that.
I
already did.
Somebody-
No, that's what I'm
Already did.
saying.
It's right here.
I think you can
So-
bring these from,
You do the work and
So,
bring it to the meeting and
Point
we
of
go
order, trustee Lechman, trustee Lucas. I've done that, I brought it to, and I actually had our lawyers look at it. They've been paid for this already,
how much
okay?
did it cost us?
You guys have already approved it.
How much,
It's
I
already-
didn't ask you that, I
Okay.
asked how much did it cost
So I
us?
would like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-03, an ordinance approving the board policy manual. That would be approving the ordinance that we have there, as well as the ordinances that we have, for appended policies, regulating electronic equipments, public participating policies, rules governing recording meetings, and then ADA notices of grievances and procedures as well. For all the appendices. With this, that should
There's
How many
only
Yeah.
pages is that now?
that you just brought up.
30 altogether, well,
30
actually,
plus.
plus the ordinance to approve it.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Supervisor Prater, seconded by Trustee Volz. Let's do roll call, please.
Trustee Lightfoot,
Aye.
trustee Lucas,
Nay,
trustee Hacker,
No, I would like it a little shorter.
trustee Volz,
Aye.
supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, ordinance 2022-04, proposed town budget. This is me giving the board the town budget that I, from the last workshop that we did, all the numbers updated. And this is what we'll have up at the front for, until our next budget hearing that we have, so.
This is passing me.
Yes, it'll pass in May. Yes. And then we have ordinance 2022-05, proposed road budget.
So here's your road budget. Towards the, after you flip through the last page, it has the, budget comparison, but the very last page comes out of general road fund. This is called the half rate tax. This is the portion out of general road that gets refunded right off the bat. Are you on your last page?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the cities get out of my general road budget, out of what I levy. So basically $127,500,
Why is it?
state law.
Okay.
That way the people in the cities can't complain that they, so a lot of times in township government, we get complaints, why don't you use a township road?
Oh, I understand. Okay.
But you do, but your money, half your money gets refunded back to your city.
Okay.
And then they call the city, oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. It comes right off the budget, right at the county, right back to the cities.
I understand the process.
So, I just wanted to give you, this is the current one for this year.
Thank you very much. Ongoing business, department reports, John.
A lot going on. We're wrapping up our tree removals and, brush removals along road right of ways. The first mowing begins May 2nd. Township and county roads will be junked at the last week of April. We have taken all of our salt for the year, and the county is going out for new bids. I believe that bid is April 18th. So I should know by the next board meeting what the current price is for next year. This year was $82.16 or something like that per ton. So we're hoping to get a better price next year because it was such a low winter throughout the country. It wasn't a bad winter, so hopefully prices will go down because there's a abundance. If you have any questions about my budget, please feel free to contact me at any time. Last August, we signed a contract for the new loader. The new loader should be here sometime June or July. So the old loader and the skidster, our skidster's starting to act up, so the old one is going out for auction. The guy is coming next week to take pictures, they'll go, and then they'll have a company come pick them up and haul them up to Wisconsin, and then they go out for public auction. And then that money will go right to John Deere. We won't even see it, so it's not in my budget, cause it doesn't, it's like a trade-in. It'll go right to John Deere to offset the cost of the new loader. John Deere gave us a cost of $30,000 for the loader, trade-in value. We're hoping, we've been watching the trading, we should hopefully get around 50. So that's why we're going with the auction instead of just trading. But I'm gonna put a reserve of 30 on it, so we don't lose money. We're starting our drainage projects on Wednesday. The drainage project on Purnell Road that I tried to get done last year, I finally got my permit in November, but it was too late to start the project. It sounds like that's gonna happen in the next 3 weeks. Trian Construction will be performing the work, along with, we got the $20,000 grant. Well, it may not be called a grant. We were being reimbursed through the county stormwater management program, $20,000 to help offset our costs for the project. Asphalt plant opens around April 18th, and April brush pickup is complete. The next one is May 2nd.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, I don't understand the lingo. It says township and county roads will be junked the end of April.
Pick up garbage along the roadsides.
Okay, I was hoping it would be something like that. Okay, thanks.
I call it junk, I
Okay.
should, yeah, sorry.
That's
So
okay.
if we have like, that area that's all dirty, we pick that all up and bag it, then you guys pick it up, is that how it works or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have, for that, so like Northwoods Homeowners Association,
Yeah.
they always clean up Hawthorne Lane, and I actually give them orange bags.
Okay.
And they call me when they're full, and I go pick them up.
Maybe we'll do that something by us. We got
If
that
you wanna
area
do
that's
something like
pretty
that, let
dirty.
me know, I'll get you a roll of bags.
Cool.
You put them out in one location, let me know where they're at, and I'll have the guys pick them up.
Thank you.
We do that along with High Lake Road too. There's a group in the High Lake subdivision. They come out and junk High Lake Road, Prince Crossing Road, probably 3-4 times a year. They call me up and I pick them up. So, but all of our roads get junked before we start mowing. So we don't just chop it up and spread it all over the place.
Great.
Roadside pickup.
I
forget,
was
you
hoping
know?
that's one of my jobs, but I'm like, no, okay. Thanks.
Okay, moving on, Ride Your Page.
And happy Easter.
Oh, happy Easter, that's right, yeah.
What is jumped up?
No.
It's jumped up?
Yeah.
I would just wanna say thank you to your plow truck driver to help the kids out that day.
Not a problem. Thank you so much.
I got a couple phone calls on it, so thank you.
Good to hear.
Ride Your Page, January, February, March, each month had one rider. In January, they had 16 rides. In February, they had 11 rides. In March, they had 13 rides. So waiting on payment. We're gonna owe them for that. Our bus in March had 91 riders and 167 stops. General assistance, 231 calls, 43 callers to other agencies, 25 in-person appointments, 10 LAHI, 6 emergency assistants, and actually 7 emergency assistants we helped out. And then I went to the Warrenville Park District for their senior fair. Talked about the bus, basically the new program that we have, that is 55 plus, 5 miles outside the radius, and it's 100% free. So hopefully we'll be getting some more people sending in their applications for the bus, as well as caregivers and stuff like that as well. Everyone was very appreciative, also having Mark there as well, talking about the senior freeze and when the paperwork was gonna be coming in, which should be the end of April, by the way. You should get that mailed to you if you're a senior, just so you guys know.
Not yet.
Sorry, but at least that's happening there, okay?
Do you wanna have so I was on, am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, of course. What was the
So I was on a Zoom call while I was at work, and there's 3-year grants. They're in the middle of it for the Illinois Department of Aging or something that refunds townships and cities for busing services. Are we part of that? They said we couldn't apply right now because they're in the middle of it. It sounds like something like a 3-up, like you do 3 years and you bring paperwork back, you get reimbursed for another 3.
Okay, Illinois Department for Aging.
It sounded, that was one of the lady that was speaking, so.
Okay. At this moment, we're not involved in that.
I just remember.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe it'd help offset some of the bus costs, because the bus is getting a little older, right?
thank you.
I would have wrote it down, but I was installing flash coving in a commercial kitchen at the time, so it's a little difficult.
You needed an extra hands, I guess.
You know, and they wanted to see my
Couldn't take
face
5
when I asked the question, so I had, this is what I look like, people.
Okay. Moving on to executive session for section 211, discussion for pending litigation or probable and imminent litigation which shall be specifically identified in the executive session minutes. Do I have a second on that?
We discussed the treasurer's report. We didn't discuss the treasurer's report. It's on the agenda.
Yeah, it was with supervisor and treasurers, just together. Sorry.
All right,
Okay. Any discussion to fall into closed session? No, John's gonna leave. I'm gonna close that and then, close the window and the doors, so. And then you also need to shut off the.
I do want to go back to the treasurer's report because I didn't hear a point from you to discuss.
We just have a motion to go into closed session.
I understand
When we
that.
come back out,
When we
Okay.
come back, that's
Great,
fine.
thank you.
When we come back, yeah.
excellent. Call roll, please.
Trustee Paulsen.
Thank you, John.
We'll take Mark's copy sheet.
Trustee Acker. She gets trustee Acker.
The following executive
Oh, yes.
closed session.
Trustee Lucas.
Homework. I.
Trustee Legna. Supervisor Brenner.
Aye, motion passes. Thanks.
I'll close the door on the way out.
First
Thank you.
session, 7:27 PM.
Was that turn, or regular